is like a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving, said Einstein. And of course, Steve Jobs. Stay hungry, stay foolish. These are all great life lessons. I have one too. Beg, borrow, steal, get the job done. I like provocation, and I like the discomfort in this phrase. This dictum has always been there as an icebreaker. It's like a wake-up call, a call that ensures responses, a conversation in action. I say, begging for wisdom, borrowing experience, and stealing time has always got the best chance to get the job done. This has been a mantra for walking the talk that has worked for me. In today's world of prolonged procrastination and data digestion, or perhaps one needs to call it digital diarrhea, let me dissect this from my lens for you all. Beg for wisdom fundamentally tells you to shed your inhibitions and stay a learner. Learn from anyone and learn anywhere. I simply travel. There are my design expeditions to explore cities and cultures. We call them Archo tours. Archo tours are annual architecture tours at my studio where a bunch of us travel across the globe for 2 weeks. The Archo tour is a detour in life to explore architecture and oneself. It ensures a conversation with your own self at one level and confronts your worldview at another. Traveling together with frugality and simplicity keeps us hungry for knowledge and open to exchange. One must read and, more importantly, reread. Rereading your interests makes sure you stay humble to excavate new meanings every time. I strongly believe we all have short memory, and it helps to press the reset button to stay focused on your North Stars. And so, one has to unlearn and relearn to stay relevant. Whether it's my young colleagues leading organizations or my children with their flair for technology, it's incredible how much you can learn from them. It's incredible how new ways of thinking and working are important. One needs to embrace change. Let's change the way we get wise. Borrowing experience comes from the basic reality of not reinventing the wheel. Life through design, as we call it, needs to be built through thought-through foundations for everything we do. Drink, eat, sleep, think. And it really helps to learn from legends. I have had the honor of working with Mr. Amitabh Bachchan a few times. I'm a big fan. And it's incredible to spend hours and days in the recording studio with him. His focus on practicing, on rehearsing, and attempting to still be the best version of himself and his art form is unnerving. One could see the depth one can get when you remove the width. I have called it the art of monotasking, a sharp focus on what you can do while doing it, and then doing just that at that point of time. It's hard. I'm a bit absent-minded, and that hugely helps. One can easily zone out and deep dive and come back. And relearning this art of focus, was extremely reassuring. At our architecture practice, we call them Archo forums, another take on exchange and experience. It's a forum that allows us to collaborate with the best international practices of the world. When our projects go beyond our scale and sensibility, it's important to be careful and critical. When one is confronted with the responsibility to landscape an entire heritage city, or have the power to rebrand a world wonder, one has to remember, with power comes responsibility. This is when resources warrant a careful treading to build in public realm as an architect in India. One must build on others' experiences. It is when been there, done that masters need to be heard before you speak a solution. One must muster the experience from the best. I enjoy reading autobiographies. I'm always curious about people and their trajectories, as to how they find time to do it all. Any name worth its weight, from Gandhi to Einstein, from Jobs to Musk, from Corbusier to Doshi, not a single one stays in bed past 6 in the morning. It's a non-negotiable. Waking up early gives you time for yourself, time to do everything you stretched or strived for. I have had no television in my house ever. It really helped to free time to think and do things. One would be lost occasionally in a friendly conversation of soaps in school days, but the extra time to play sports was well worth it. And now, my children have been brought up with just music and books. I do not have social media in my life. I don't have it on my machines. I don't have it on my phone or my laptop. I take updates as if it's a weekly, regular job with my colleagues. I stay away from these super seductive reels and random connections to try and focus on rational and real ones. Rather than nibbling away from small habits and things, one must make a few decisions that can free up potentially a large amount of time on a schedule. It perhaps comes with a small degree of compromise and a fairly large degree of courage, but the benefits far outweigh everything else, always. It's the time you can easily steal out of your own life. With these traits, getting the job done needs the will to go the distance. I share two stories for this. We were asked by the state to look at the old city of Agra, Tajganj, the area around Taj Mahal. It needed a facelift for a better visitor experience. We extended our brief to make the city a key stakeholder. There were 11 owners to Taj Mahal, from UNESCO internationally to the Archaeological Survey of India to the local development authorities and municipal corporations of Agra. We wanted to pedestrianize and clean the city. One of the main ideas were to remove the black tarmac on all the roads of the city and thereby avoid the annual polluting relayering of Agra. We wanted to bring the original stone, the red stone, to cobble all the streets, a solution that could put the monument off its misery forever. No one seemed interested in authorizing this. One had to go to the Supreme Court of India to argue this as a case, as our case, and we won. It was something beyond the brief of an architect and way beyond the brief of a design practice. My second story is my journey of building a design school, the Design Village. Every entrepreneur in India will agree that the most fundamental challenge in running their show, their shop, is the people they work with. I too experienced this. I also saw the biggest reason for me being able to work creatively was my exposure and education. And thus began the journey of bringing the relevant design world to India, as one could not have taken every student out. The Design Village is a school for the future and the school for the world. It was started with gut and grit, very little sense or rather business sense. When in doubt, jump, and that is exactly what we did to now make India's first social design school, a school to change the world. And to be able to beg humbly, borrow carefully, and steal with prudence, it gives one the appetite to go the distance. And to be able to travel these personal journeys, we equip ourselves with the tools that make this magic happen for us. The proof of the pudding is in eating it, but the magic is in the proofing. The magic is in finding ways, these inconvenient ways, these provocative ways, so our dreams wire through to light our life. Thank you.